appreciate you for doing this.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right, you guys. Welcome to Envision Podcasting, episode 14. I am here with, can I say the man, the myth, the legend now? Can I say that? After this man got the featherweight state championship, the Massachusetts featherweight state championship, which we were talking about last episode. He was in fight week, and we were talking about how he was undefeated, 9-0. It was going to be his biggest fight. Well, in that fight, he toyed with the guy, he knocked him out in round 3. And then we were just talking about another fight that happened 3 weeks later. This is how active this guy is. He fought 3 weeks later against his quote-unquote toughest opponent again. And instead of waiting out the 3 rounds, we were just talking about that. He was like, I'm just going to go out there and I'm going to swing and hit. And he knocked him out in the first round, too. Carlos Gonzalez, how you doing, my man?
Thank you for having me, bro.
Chilling, man.
I'm doing good, though.
How are you?
I'm doing good, very good. Just chilling. I got 3 weeks left to my next fight. So I've been in the gym just relaxing. Well, not relaxing in the gym, but I've been in the gym or relaxing, recovering, and on my diet, mentally, physically, everything been good.
Hell yeah, dude. And I, like we were just talking about with the podcast last time that we did, you were on that weight cut. When you fought that guy in Springfield, what venue was it at again?
In Springfield was at AIC.
AIC.
Yeah.
Okay. So when we saw that fight, we were talking about how this is 10-0. You were about to go to double digits, and on top of that, you were about to gain that Massachusetts featherweight championship.
Mm-hmm.
When the day before you had that fight, were you at all like nervous beforehand because there was so much on the line, or were you just kind of like no stress?
Yeah, no stress, but I was a little anxious, you could say, because I'm always anxious because I want to do good for the people. I want to do good for the people that come support me. I want to put on a good performance. So, but not necessarily for the fight. You know what I mean? Like all that was just add-ons. The main thing with me, I was trying to perform very well to give the audience a good show.
Right.
And that's it.
Is that why you kind of let it go to round 3? That and trying to like feel out like his.
Nah, not really that. It was really my corner, cause once the first round came, I just wanted to first of all like hit and not get hit. So when with me doing that, I could have got it out. I could have got him out of there first round if I pressed the gas, but I didn't. But so in my head, I was like, oh, okay, I got him. Because I think if I'm not mistaken, I dropped him the first round or second round or something with a body shot. But
Yeah.
I already knew that he was weak to the body because when I was jabbing down there or anything, I just heard him and I seen him. So I went back to the corner and then my coach just told me like, yo, just relax. Use your jab, go around, and he gave me instructions and stuff like that, and I just followed it. So and the instructions were part of the instructions were not to knock him out. You know what I'm saying? So
Right.
so after the third round, he was like, yo, you cannot, now not that you can knock him out because it's not like you could just do whatever you want, but if you want, you could press on the gas a little bit and hit him hard. But if you're gonna hit him really hard, do it to the body. So that's what I did.
Well, in that fight, you were doing whatever you wanted. Like throughout the entire, I was ringside. I saw you. You were just kind of, like I said, moving around him, and what you said after the fight, just kind of feeling his like power. You know what I mean, and seeing how hard he hit. And then, like, I think you got to you got to your corner after the second round, and you kind of had that look on your face, like this guy's easy. Like just kind of. And it's not to say that that guy was like a bad boxer. It was just you've put in so much work.
Definitely.
Up until this point, that in your mind, that's why I like the way your mind works. You genuinely think, how can I not do this rather than how can I do this? It seems like your mindset going into every fight is like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think having that killer mindset is important, especially in a boxing fight. When you won the Massachusetts State Championship, what was your post-workout meal? Like post-fight meal, rather?
I don't remember.
Do you remember?
I don't remember, but I was probably deep in some pasta.
Yeah.
Or Yeah, I'm a big pasta fan, so it was probably. If I'm thinking straight, it was probably some pasta. If not, if it was too late for pasta, yeah, I think it was some pasta.
He knows. He already knows himself.
Probably like some shrimp pasta or chicken pasta, anything pasta.
Right.
But I'm not sure on the specifics, But I know for sure it was pasta.
Do you go into a binge after you weight cut, or is it just kind of like one of those things where you're like going back to normal eating immediately? Because I know some fighters will like not binge eat throughout the whole week, but throughout the majority of it after their fight because they've been depriving themselves of for like months. Do you do that?
Yeah. Well, I won't tell you that I won't do that because every time that I have a fight, I have another fight 3 or 4 weeks later.
Yeah.
So I have to go back to eating right that very week. But so I haven't got the chance since I started this boxing stuff. I haven't got the chance to like relax for a week or none of that. So if I did, I don't see myself binge eating, but definitely eating what I want. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would still come hit the gym, but instead of leaving the gym and eating just whatever I eat for my diet, I definitely eat. I won't binge eat. Like when you say binge eat, I take it like just someone who's like, okay, I'm eating some pasta here, and then I'm done with that. 10, 15 minutes later, I go get a plate of rice. Then I'm done with that, and I go grab some pizza.
Right.
And then I got some chips or something. Nah, I won't do that.
Right.
But some people do. Some people do that,
right.
because like you said, they have been depriving themselves from it for a long time.
Well, your activity, like you just mentioned, doesn't even allow you, in theory, to do that. Like what was it? You had that fight in Massachusetts or in Springfield at AIC. You won the Massachusetts Featherweight Championship, and rather than just sitting on a win there and being like, all right, I'm gonna chill, this psychopath literally is like, all right, what's next? And 3 weeks later, you had an even more impressive performance in Worcester, arguably.
Appreciate
it. In my opinion, more impressive, just because, like you said, this guy was more experienced than the one at AIC, the one that you won the featherweight championship from. So in your mind, we were just talking about this earlier, you felt like, oh, well, I had to, immediately show him that I'm taking center of the ring. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he can't kind of get off shots like that. You can't really afford for that to happen. You're just going to kind of go in with that killer mindset. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Knockout in the first round, dude.
Yeah.
So hard to find. It was hard to find you. It was like this man had everybody like getting pictures with him, and that was truly a great performance. You talk about putting on a performance for the people, man. That was truly an excellent performance.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I try. That's why I work so hard for. Not only to give them great performances, and not only great performances but exciting performances, but to inspire. You know what I mean? So have to most of the people that support me from where I'm from, they kind of know a little bit about me. So I know in their minds, like, yo, this is crazy. Like, I would never thought this guy would be a boxer. Mm-hmm. And then when they come see me fight, it's not like I'm just because I don't consider myself a boxer. You know what I mean? I consider myself a fighter. Like,
right.
Like, I fight. I don't do that boxing. And I be making fun of people
winning by points,
Yeah, like just like pox, and then they move and then they talks. Nah, I don't do none of that. I go to fight. You know what I'm saying? You either knock me out or I'm gonna knock you out.
Right.
And that's what it is. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, growing as a fighter, there's gonna be times where you need to do that.
Right.
Because the guy probably has good defense, and so you gotta just, I call it box. Like, you probably gotta box a little bit, and then just until he opens up. You know what I'm saying? Like, once it's about setting traps and stuff like that. But straight all out boxer and all that, nah, I don't consider myself that. I got too much brick on these hands.
Right.
To just
too much power within you to do that, to let that happen.
That just me running around all the time.
Being a point fighter.
And I don't try to knock someone out either.
Right.
So I'm not saying that you have to get knockouts all the time. No, I'm not saying that, but like I hit with malicious intentions, and would just really not. It's I don't come from a good state of mind when I'm trying to hit somebody.
Mm.
Like so, to box, you don't really need that dark energy. That you don't need to go there in your mind.
Mm.
You could just box somebody, move around, box somebody, run around, play defense, and make them miss and all that. You don't need it. You don't need it. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing I like about boxing, that it forces me to go to that dark side. That I feel like I'm in a dark room and no one's around, and then boom, when the light turns on, there's only him. I actually like that about boxing.
Right.
But to be a full out boxer, I don't really think you need that mindset.
Right.
Now, when you're trying to like hurt somebody because they're trying to hurt you, you definitely need to
Have that mindset.
have somewhat of that mindset. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Do you think there's that blackout boxer kind of type? Have you seen those come in, like to the even to the gym, where like if they get hit, they'll immediately react and not even really think about like
yeah,
protecting them? Because I know
yeah. I
that you
used to
said
be like that. Yeah.
right, exactly.
I used to, well, I still have trouble with it. You know what I mean? I'm not perfect.
Now, is it when
And
you get hit and you get hurt and then you feel the sense to kind of go get your get back, or
yeah,
is that how?
that's how it used to be. But now, like if you ever catch me doing that now, it's because I done messed up so many times over and over and over again. So if the guy caught me with the same, like usually in sparring, the guy catches me with the same punch more than 3 or 4 times. Now it's like, you
Now
know what
you
I'm
start to
saying?
feel
Yeah.
that.
Actually, today I had a sparring match today this morning, and I got caught with, I don't know if it was a jab or something, but I was trying to work on, because sparring matches, they're not like fights. You're literally practicing something.
Mhm.
So that's why you do it with bigger gloves and headgear, because you're bound to get hit.
Right.
So while you're practicing and trying to perfect whatever you're trying to perfect, so I'm practicing a certain defense, and not only defense, but I'm trying to train my eye to see everything coming. That way, my defense is more reactive instead of me just standing there. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I got caught with, I don't know if it was, I don't remember what type of punch it was, but he caught me a few times with it, like back to back to back to back, right there.
Mhm.
So it's not like if you catch me here and then you catch me in the 6th round and then you catch me in the 8th round.
Right.
I don't mind that. That's just boxing. You're gonna get hit.
Right.
But if say this is round 4 and that same exact round I got hit with the same thing like 4 times, 5 times, yeah, I'm gonna get mad. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Is in your mind, do you kind of like negotiate with yourself or like, all right, I got to be a bit more careful, or do you feel like you kind of have to lean into that dark side like you had mentioned beforehand?
no. In sparring, you gotta be more smart. I mean, really, in a fight, any in any situation in boxing, you have to be smart.
Mm.
So it's not really that dark side, like because the dark side is like more of anger and letting out something.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So I feel like you should only go to that when you're about to hit somebody.
Right.
But the overall mental state that you should be in a clear, intelligent one.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Throughout a fight or especially throughout sparring, because that's what gets you ready for the fight.
Mm.
But the only time you should even think about like going to that dark place that I was talking about earlier is either before a fight, so you can get yourself in that zone, and when you're hitting someone. So if I'm here relaxing, I'm hitting them, and then once say I catch him with something clean and I see him, maybe he's not wobbly or nothing, but as soon as I know that I caught him clean,
Mm.
that's when I start trying to tap into that a little more, so I could just, do put him through more pain and damage him a little more.
When you catch a person, do you notice by the way that they move, like their footwork specifically, not them not throwing a punch, not them even really backing up, but do you notice when you do wobble a person, like
Yeah.
them just like what do you notice about it when you hit somebody? Because you have hands of fucking fury. Like I'm telling you, not Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury has pillow hands. I mean, like you have them Francis Ngannou at 130
Yeah, I
pound
appreciate that.
type hands, and you were talking about how you might go to a dark place if you get hit. But I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, I've never seen this guy really get hit. You know what I mean? Like,
Nah, but in sparring, well, that's why I appreciate my coach a lot, cause I'm blessed to have a coach like the one I have, that he has he has a name in the sport of boxing. Like,
Mm.
he's not even from Massachusetts,
Oh, really?
and he's not from Massachusetts. He wasn't raised out here. He didn't really know much about Springfield, Massachusetts before he bought this gym.
Right.
So there was some odd reason where when he moved over here, maybe a couple months or a year later, I transitioned into boxing, and then a couple months into me trying to be a boxer, I landed here in this gym.
Mm-hmm.
So he's probably, he's not the first person I ever met through the boxing, like as a coach, but he's my first coach, like
Right.
ever, and my only coach. So I'm blessed to have him in my corner because he done seen it all. He done had 8 world champions,
Really?
like world champions, not no like state champions or regional champions. No, world champions. Like
Really?
#1 in the country. Like not in the country, like in all countries.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? Like he had 8 of those.
He's about to have 9, so don't.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Don't
For
speak
sure.
too soon.
So he's done already had that, and so he pushes me to a certain. His requirements for me is like not requirements that other people would give me. Like other people would come and be like, "Oh, okay, you doing this, you doing that, wah," but they always put that. Oh, but for a person who's only been doing this for about to be 2 years, you're doing phenomenal and all this. He takes that out the way.
Oh, really?
And his requirements for me is like the same as somebody who started when they was 8, because that's how you're gonna get far in this game. No, in life, really, no one's gonna sit there and be like, "Oh, this guy been working for 2 weeks." Rather than, oh, he's been working for 20 years. You get what you put in.
Mm.
So the people he has me spar, they're probably one of the best, if not the best, fighters all across the world.
Really?
And I'm blessed to be a part of their team.
Mm.
So anytime I'm sparring, I'm learning triple.
What anybody else who is 2 years in the game is learning.
Exactly. Not even 2 years. Like most people in the game, like they don't have the type of, like, most people in the game, they like the spotlight, they like the attention and all that. So when they come train with someone, they don't want nobody else to be there because they could probably outgrow them or they could probably outshine them or whatever.
Right.
They want to be the king.
The guy, yeah.
But that sucks because when it's time for sparring, you're sparring guys that you could beat them up blindfolded.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you won't get, like, you already here. Yeah, you're super nice and all that, but you're here. You would never get past here. Rather than someone that's here and every time they spar, they're going up and up and up and up. Every time you spar, you're staying right here because nothing is challenging you.
Right.
Sooner or later, this guy's gonna keep, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And you're still here.
Right.
So,
and then when you guys meet in a pro boxing like fight for real, it's like that guy who was constantly challenging himself, even if he was getting beat up a bit in sparring, but he was constantly learning, is gonna beat the shit out of you.
Exactly, because he's been in that place where he knows he's about to get, like, not that he knows he's about to get fucked up, but there's a great chance he could get fucked up.
Right.
and he had to deal with that already. Then knowing that and actually getting beat up, that takes a toll on you too. So you gotta battle with that. And then as long as, like, a lot of people won't sit there and be like, yo, whatever, let's get it.
Right.
A lot of people won't do that. They want to be the pretty boys and all that. You can't be no pretty boy in boxing.
Right.
I mean, you can, but you just won't get far.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't know much about it, but from what my coach tells me, you won't get far. You're gonna have to challenge yourself, man.
Well, you know plenty about it, actually. You've had 11 fights. You've never lost one. You've always focused on training. And one thing that I notice about you that not really a lot of people in any industry do, whether it be boxing, MMA, anything, you constantly like have a reset mindset, which is like the Kobe mindset.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant was talking about how you should live every day, which is, well, regardless on whether you won or you lost today on your goals, tomorrow you're just going to have to get up and do it again. So it doesn't matter. Yeah. You know, you can dwell on what you lost. You can celebrate on what you won. But tomorrow you're going to have to get up and do it all over again. Do you feel like you have that mindset?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Definitely. Definitely. And not only, I don't even wait until tomorrow. It'll be right then and there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Be
Because
right
you
then and there.
do you become obsessed with that? Like you were talking about how like people hit you in sparring sometimes. Are you ever like talking to your coach like how the fuck am I missing this? Like what like how do I defensively get around that? Like do you think about?
Yeah, definitely. I ask a lot of questions. Sometimes there's no such thing as stupid questions, but like I ask my coach a lot of questions and stuff like that
Right.
about defense, about how to set somebody up, or why isn't why aren't I doing this correct or whatever. And thankfully he always has an answer. Cause he's a beast, yo. That dude's a beast. Like he really breathes, he lives, eat, sleep, breathes boxing. Like he studies it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like he's the type of person to watch a fight, and if we're watching a fight, you're gonna be like, yo, who you got? For instance, tonight, Lomachenko's fighting Kambosos.
Right.
So like the average person, a casual boxing fan would pick somebody, obviously, but even a regular boxing fan, a person who knows boxing and and they're in boxing or whatever, they're gonna be like, oh, okay, I got this guy. Wow, wow, I'm gonna watch it because I want this guy to win. Everybody always picks a side.
Mm-hmm.
With him, he just likes watching boxing,
Mm.
and not only because he likes it, but he watches it and he studies it to the point where, okay, how can I beat Lomachenko? How can I beat Kambosos?
Right.
Oh, Lomachenko's doing this right. Oh, Kambosos is doing this right. And that's how he watches boxing. More of like a film study.
That's interesting.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Right.
not more of like pleasuring himself with watching a good fight.
Right.
Nah, he's watching it. And every time, every single time that I bring up a fight or something like that, he always got something that no one in the world saw in the fight, but it happened. And
Right.
then when he breaks it down, he shows you, you're like, oh shit, like how's your mind even
There.
working like
Eight
that?
world champions,
Yeah,
it's
no,
like
he's
having that
different.
type of studying mindset. Have you found yourself adapting a lot of that? Like kind of like to your game where you're watching a fight and you're like, man, I really don't even care who wins. I
Yeah, I'm
just kind
trying.
of
Yeah, lately, yeah, and he's also like he's been through a lot in his life and stuff like that. He went on a 12-year trip, so he went on a 12-year trip. That's all public anyway, but
mm,
he has a lot of wisdom,
right,
like like an extreme amount of wisdom.
right,
So I'm adapting to that more than yeah, the boxing. I'm definitely growing with him as a boxer, but I appreciate it even more because I'm growing as a person and as a man
right.
through him. You know what I mean? Through his wisdom and all that. Now, he's not the type to tell you like, oh, yo, you should be this, you should be that. Nah, it's just the way the guy's mind works. Like, I don't even understand it,
Mm.
but for somehow, like, you get around that guy and
You just
you,
start
you,
building. You
you
think about building
yeah,
your future, kind of.
exactly.
That's awesome.
You become sharper in the mind. You become more intelligent. More aware of what's going on. When people talk to you, you could listen to them instead
Mm,
of like, you know, hearing what they want you to hear. You could like actually listen to the tone of their voice,
mm.
the 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 body language while they say certain words, and how to deal with people more. Not only deal with them, but how to pick people apart.
Mm.
Okay, this guy is like this because this, and you know, I've learned a lot from him.
Having your mind like a trap like that too is great because you're like absorbing information like a sponge, right?
Definitely.
And we were just talking about obviously the last few fights you've had, you're really starting to peak that regional superstardom, which will in a couple fights be more national. I feel because it's like with your popularity, the way you fight is very exciting. You're putting people down quick. It's not even a close competition or not even a close fight. Do you think that being around your coach, which by the way, what's your coach's name?
Hector Bermuda.
Hector Bermudez. Shout out to Coach Hector Bermudez
Yeah.
because you are about to make a ninth killer. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
But with his wisdom, with everything that he tells you in the boxing ring, I think you can apply a lot of that to media and people and dealing with them, right?
Yeah.
Because there is, I don't want to say added stress. Support is amazing. You know what I mean?
Yes,
It's
sir.
great to have, and you've embodied that regularly. I always see you posting on your stories, about buying tickets, and more people are buying, more people are posting. But I think you adopting what he tells you is just kind of helps you prepare for that. you know, like more fame. Do you kind of see that coming your way as you build up your knockout resume?
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't see the fame in my future if it comes, whatever.
Mm,
But I see success in my future, you know,
mm,
and that's all I really see. And anything that comes with success, yeah. So if fame comes with success or whatever, then yeah, I see it in my future. But necessarily like being famous, I don't really see it. One, because I'm not that type of person. I don't really want to be that. I'm not that, like, I know where I come from, man. That shit's cool for some, you know what I mean? People who,
it's cool for a season. You know what
yeah,
I
that's
mean?
just
It's cool
cool
for a
for
little
other
bit.
people that ain't really cool to me. Like, what's cool to me is being successful and able to help somebody else without even knowing them, without even
Right.
touching them, talking to them, without even seeing them person to person, but helping them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's my thing. So I don't consider that famous. I just consider that well known.
Right.
So that's what I see in my future.
I like that because you focus more on your character than your reputation. You know,
Definitely,
because your character
100%.
is kind of like building that. I was actually gonna say to have more of a heart to heart with you. I think I told you this a couple months ago. I had a really bad drinking problem, and I don't know what you said, but you had said something when we were like about to film the first podcast or after, where you were kind of like just like, oh, I don't really do that, and I was like, I wish I could be like that. You know what I mean? With alcohol specifically, because I was really falling down a pit. And after a while, I just started to realize, I'm like, man, I don't want to be like that either. You know what I mean? Like, I want to actually do things in life without, kind of compromising my ability to do them. Even if you have a great day, like I said, you have to wake up and do it again.
Do it all over.
Do you want to wake up and do it again and you're hungover and your brain hurts and,
Yeah.
and your body hurts, you didn't get enough sleep because you were drunk? It's like, I didn't want that. And so you helped me with that. So I appreciate you for that, for real.
Appreciate you.
Even in small ways that you don't know that, like how you inspire people, you do. And I think that, whether you call it fame, well known, it doesn't matter. Your message is clear. Where you come from to where you're going, people see that and they're like, damn, like what can I do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think every fight that you win and every time you keep on putting a person down, no offense to anybody who's gonna fight him next, but good luck, have fun. But no, on a real note, the more success you attain, the more of an inspiration you become. I'm gonna sidebar this for a second. What do you think as a pro boxer? A 57-year-old man fighting 58. He'll be 58 at the fight.
I think I know where you're going with this.
Fighting a 27-year-old man, 31-year age difference. Mike Tyson versus Jake Paul.
Yeah.
What do you think about that? Being, on your side of boxing and
shit, power is the last thing that be Asian. You know what I'm saying? So if Mike Tyson still got anything, is he definitely got that power, and he knows the game. So I mean, it's hard to say. You know what I'm saying? Because
he's a grandpa.
This is like showbiz in a way. Boxing is more entertainment than it is like, it's not a sport. It's a business. So I don't see Mike Tyson winning, but if they really were to fight with, a sanctioned fight and small gloves on and all that, shit, I think Mike Tyson would put him to sleep.
Really?
But, me knowing like the level of celebrity that Jake Paul is and the amount of money he makes doing this boxing stuff and all that, I can't see that happening.
Right.
But
that'd be crazy.
Yeah, I would love that, yo.
That would be. So I was gonna ask you, what do you think about a guy like Jake Paul? Like a guy who's, I don't want to say not really a real boxer, because from what I've seen, he can box like a Tommy Fury can box in that sense. It's like lower card type of fights, but obviously he's been on YouTube, so he's a superstar in that sense. So he's selling all these out, but he picks and chooses a lot of his fighters. Like, what do you think about a guy like that? Kind of coming into your world a little bit.
Well, a lot of people think a lot of stuff about him, but it's like a gift and a curse, because he brings a lot of like a new audience to boxing and a new crowd and stuff like that. And he brings more, like, that comes with incentives. So that's the good thing. The bad thing about it is you you're putting this picture out where this shit is easy and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It really isn't easy. Like just not a regular person who like one, if you ain't got the money to do what he does, it's not gonna be as smooth as it is for him.
Right.
Because, you know, maybe he could get the best training, he could get the best sparring and the best gear and all that. A person starting up from the bottom, especially that late, like, and I can speak on it because I start real late.
You started at 25, right?
Yeah, this shit real hard. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only bad thing about it. But other than that, I think he doing a phenomenal job, bro. Especially with like the success that I was talking about. Not as a boxer, you know, more like
bringing eyes to the sport.
Yeah,
that was something I've never heard anyone say.
Yeah, he's like a successful person. So whatever he touches is gonna be a success. So that's what I like about him. You know what I'm saying? And he gets to it. He's a business guy. He's a beast doing that. So I give it to him in that sense. But as far as like, you know, 30 years from now, people talking about him, stuff like that, is gonna be more like a, you know, like like a Raven Stereo. You know what I'm saying? It's like a person who, yeah, you know him for wrestling and all that, but you know, it's WWE. It's not
real.
Like, you know, UFC type stuff.
Do you think like a guy like that? Do you think he actually can box, or do you think you see him as like a lower level?
I think he can box. Like one, you don't have to look too pretty in there. You know what I'm saying? As long as you got that equalizer, you're always in the fight, no matter who you're fighting. So I think he should go on that route. You know what I'm saying? Like try to get ranked and climb up the ranks and do this, do that. He got the bread for it. He got the money for it. So he should do that. But he's making so much money without doing that he don't really need to do that. So shit, anybody who's mad at him for doing that is like, bro, what's wrong with you?
Right.
The man's providing for himself and his family.
Right.
Doing that, and he don't have to go through all this other stuff.
Right.
So
I agree with you. I think he's definitely got the business side of it good, and I like that you said that. Like
I would like to get signed by that dude.
Yeah, exactly. Because it brings eyes to people, and he was talking about a fighters union, which I thought was kind of a cool idea, because obviously, as you know, fighters have to pay for their own health insurance most times, not all the time, but most times. Sucks. Well, yeah, exactly. In a sport like boxing or MMA, you have to pay your own insurance. It's like, that's kind of crazy.
In that hospital, you're gonna be there a lot.
Right. And so, like, with a guy like that, you had it spot on. I agree with you. I think he brings eyes to the sport. But talking to an actual pro boxer, you know, I see you as more legitimate than a Jake Paul, just because the competition you've gone through has actually been real competition that isn't set up like, you know, Nate Diaz, like a Ben Askren, a Tyron Woodley. Let me ask you another question. Speaking of public fights, what did you think about Anthony Joshua folding Francis in like the second round of their fight?
That was crazy, right? That was crazy. I mean that's what Tyson Fury would have done, but I don't think he like trained or anything.
It looked like Tyson
fight.
Fury ate Tyson Fury. It looks crazy.
He didn't come off like a person who was dialed in and all that. Right. Anthony Joshua was dialed in.
Right.
So, you know, that goes to show you that, you know, if Anthony Joshua was to go in the cage with Ngannou, it would have been the other way around. Ngannou would have slept him. Or he would have choked him out or whatever. He would have won the fight.
Right.
Well, any MMA guy coming to do boxing, it's a whole different game. So, especially at that level, so it don't matter what level you are in MMA. If you go to boxing, I'm not saying if you fight a boxer in the street, that is what it is.
Right.
But you're taking on somebody who's the best at what they do in their own sport. Of course, they're gonna, you know, get the better of you. Right. It just so happened that Anthony Joshua put him to sleep. Like, put him to sleep. I thought that was crazy.
Because when was the last time, I mean, and not to shit on Joshua, because I actually really like Joshua as a boxer, but when was the last time he really put anybody to sleep? You know what I mean? Like, I haven't really thought about, like, I was thinking about that, like, maybe since the Ruiz fight, Andy Ruiz, he really has fought safe since then, because that was the first time he got knocked out. And you know, you may never have that, but I feel like with a boxer, if they get knocked out. That is like a big, imagine like you're top of like food chain, 20, I think it was 22, 23, 21 knockouts. You're like a god. And you see this Andy Ruiz guy coming, you're like, I'm gonna fold this guy. And he knocks you out. I mean, that really plays with your psyche
Yeah,
for a long
definitely,
time,
definitely. And even if it's somebody that you know you're gonna get fucked up, but just going through that, thank God I haven't experienced that.
Because you
And I'm
get
not
all of it in
planning.
sparring, man.
Yeah, I'm
You
not
don't
planning
shy away
on
from that.
doing that, but people who get knocked out, that you definitely have to. That takes a toll on you. That's why most of the time, if you get knocked out, the commission suspends you because in your head,
Really?
yeah, the commission suspends you because you need. I don't know the science behind it, but you definitely need, like, it's like you're in a car crash almost. Our body's not meant to get hit or to
Right.
hit. You know
So
what I'm saying?
they suspend you for a certain period of time before you can come back?
Yeah.
Really?
So say you get stopped to the body or something.
Right.
That's like a 30-day suspension or something like that, 60 days or whatever.
Really?
But if you get knocked out with a headshot, I think it's like 60 to 90 days suspension.
Really?
Yeah. Just so they can make sure that, you're good.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then you come back. But not only that, but for what you said, 23-0, 24-0, you're on top of the world. You feel like you're invincible, and you get knocked out by somebody you overlooked. Besides that, already fucking people up. Sorry to squirt.
No.
Curse. Besides that, already fucking somebody, a normal person who don't even box, he gets knocked out. That's gonna fuck him up.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Mentally and physically. So besides the physical part of it, you're definitely gonna be fucked up in your head. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like a breakup.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But you're breaking up with yourself, with
Right.
that old person that you thought you were, and you know what I'm saying, you never was.
Right.
So it's like a wow. You know what I'm saying? I could imagine. You know what I'm saying? Because when I used to play football in high school and I got blindsided.
Really?
Yeah, and when I got blindsided, I ain't getting knocked out, but as soon as I got hit, I hit the floor and I got up and I started running to the sideline to try to like shake it off. But I got to the sideline, my head was hurting and stuff like that.
Right.
And
Was your body shaking a little bit?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah. So I could only imagine, like, boom, getting knocked out. In my head, I was already like, damn, I just got clipped. Everybody seen that.
Right.
Like, my head hurts. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's already fucking you up emotionally.
Right.
It's fucking you up physically too, because even though that wasn't too big, but my head was hurting. And I almost did a flip and shit.
Oh,
so,
really?
Yeah.
You're doing somersaults on the field.
Yeah, so then I could imagine someone getting knocked out. Like,
right.
Boom, like just getting quitted. When they wake up, all that's going to go through their head. Especially, like, I didn't have nobody come to me like, yo, you okay, this, that, and the third. And I didn't get knocked out, but what I'm saying, when I took that really big hit.
Oh, yeah, this man, if you guys didn't watch the last podcast, he was talking about it, fought a man who was like, you were 145 around there at that time, and he was 170.
Like 165,
165, 170. That's incredible, dude. You fought a guy who was 20 to 25 pounds up, and you got hit by that shot after a weight cut, and you like that's what he's talking about. I'm sorry, continue.
Yeah, so I only got hit, but you definitely like feel something. So I could imagine when you getting hit, you go to sleep, when you wake up. I have my coaches and my people, but they were happy that I won. Like, everybody was not happy, but everybody was like, okay, you got the job done. So no one was really on that, oh my God, you okay, and all this other stuff. Right. Now, for someone who got knocked out, they wake up and they got a million people around them talking about, you okay, whoa. Now they're going to feel like a sucker. Right. Not a sucker, but they're going to feel like, damn, like it was that bad.
How much does that weigh in compared to like the boxing? Like, let's just say you take a boxer who is an Anthony Joshua, you're 21, 22 and 0. When he got knocked out, do you think he thought more about, oh God, like what is everyone else going to think? Or do you think he was more upset at the fact that this guy was a better boxer than him?
I think both.
Okay.
And most of the time, not most of the time, but a lot of the times, that guy might not be better than you. You know what I'm saying? He just got that. Remember we was talking about earlier?
The pressure points.
Yeah, so he just got that one shot that puts you out. So it don't take somebody to be better than you. It just takes that one shot.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe I feel like he was probably going through both. I don't know for sure, but I think he was going through both. You know, not only because you want to do this for the people and all this other stuff, but not that obviously you want to do this for your people, but I'm saying like not that you have that in your head, like, oh, I gotta look good in front of people, I gotta look good, whoa, whoa, because I want them to look at me like whatever. So not only because of that, but I just feel like that's just, like everybody gets embarrassed somehow, some way.
Right.
Like embarrassment is a real thing. It's not like specified on who gets embarrassed. Nah, everybody feels embarrassment at some point in their life. So you going through that embarrassment, plus on top of that, now you're dealing with self-confidence because you're like, wow, especially if the guy's not better than you and you know that.
Right.
But that happened, you're like, wow, like how can I let this happen? And you know what I'm saying? I feel like more of that.
Right. And well, you said not better than you, and psychologically probably, and physically probably didn't train as much as you should have, because you already knew that, quote unquote, you were going to win the fight.
Exactly.
That 3.5 pound thing that you said before the podcast was super, super interesting. Can you talk about that a little bit? There's the pressure points and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not really for sure, but I know it's like 3.5 to 5 pounds.
Okay.
Or it's an extremely small amount
of weight,
of pressure in pounds that it takes to put somebody to sleep.
Okay.
And it's all about hitting vital points in the body. You know what I'm saying? So anybody could do it. Like you get a kid, a little kid, and you're just looking that way, looking at the sunset or whatever, and he comes by and hits you right in your solar plexus. What he got, like nothing but like 4 or 5 pounds of pressure on his punch.
Right.
But it's gonna
right.
You know what I'm saying? It's gonna,
you feel that like breath take away.
Exactly.
Got you.
Not only that, but sometimes like, or even a baby. Like my son, he's 3 years old. He's a little guy, but he's a little fat kid. He's a little tank.
He be fighting.
So one day I'm playing around with him and he smacked me. Like he snuck me, and I think it was like around here, but it was like okay, like it was like I didn't feel it.
Right.
But he hit me really hard, and I felt it, but it wasn't like whatever. He caught me right here, like right where the jaw is, like where that spot is. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So he caught me there, and I felt this so much more.
Oh, really?
And I'm like, oh shit, like that right there is one of those vital
points, right?
Vital points that I'm telling you about.
Here, you said here, and then your temple too.
So is your temple, is your both your your jaws, your temples, on top of the ear, like right here. You know what I'm saying?
Like behind
on top, like right there. You know what I'm saying? You kind of could touch it. If you touch it, you
I think I know what you're talking about.
You know, it's a little.
That's
higher.
Not considered a shot to the back of the head. If you hit here.
No, I think because if you hit it right on top of the ear,
right,
you're good.
Okay.
You can hit the front half, like half of your body, and the front half. So you split your body like this, and then you split your body like that.
Okay.
So you can hit anything right here, half of it. So you just can't hit here or nothing. You know
okay. Yeah. So because I was thinking in my head, I'm like, I wonder if like someone would get, like, if someone was doing a boxing match and they were boxing and they hit somebody, like not in the back of the head, but like kind of like right here, whether it would be based on the ref seeing that and thinking, oh, well, that was an illegal shot or not. That's those are the small things I feel like that are kind of like, don't leave it to the refs and don't leave it to the judges type deal, because it's like if you mess up once, there's that already built in kind of like not resentment, but like kind of bias. You know what I mean? Because it's like you've already messed up. For point deductions in like a boxing match, is it just to the back of the head? Is it just like you can't hit to the legs?
Yeah, a lot of stuff like they can take point. Well, you know, like I said, I only been in the sport a little bit of time, but from what I know, you can get a point deducted from hitting somebody low. You get a point deducted for not listening to the ref. So say if a guy's like this or something, and you're like purposely hitting him on the back, like where his spine is, and the ref will give you, they always give you a warning. You know what I'm saying? Before they take the points, they always give you a warning. So if you continue to do whatever you was warned for, they'll get you a point. It could be anything, bro. You
Do
can
you see
step on somebody's foot.
Do you see a lot of the clinching queens in boxing, like the people?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you like you've seen? I'm sure you've seen sparring kind of sessions like that. Although that's easier because it's like, all right, you guys separate. We're actually here to spar. But like in a fight, that's more of like an active situation
Yeah.
where anyone can get knocked out, and then having that constant clinch. Like I can remember, I forgot who Floyd Mayweather fought, but it was like a fight that happened like maybe like 10, 12 years ago. Basically, they clinched, they locked up, and he kept on doing it. He kept on doing it to Floyd, and then the ref separated them, and then the guy went in for like a punch, like punching like each other's gloves out of respect, and Floyd knocked him out right there.
Yeah.
You remember the fight I'm talking about?
Yeah,
right?
that was with Victor Ortiz.
Oh, okay.
But it was because he headbutted Floyd.
Oh, all right, all right.
And
I
then
thought that was a clinch.
they were clinching and stuff, but they were working on the inside, you know. Then the ref was separated. Then he headbutted him blatantly.
Now,
so they already said like my bad or whatever. So when the dude tried to do it again,
right.
once the ref said like box, he tried to do it again. So
right.
Floyd was like, bang, and just
hit him with a quick 1-2, knocked him right out.
Knocked him right out.
Well, and I think in those types of situations, like for you, how often do you see a clinch like necessary? Do you ever clinch, or do you? Or do you just try to back away?
Yeah, I don't really do that, but it's actually really smart to do.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? In certain situations, like my coach wants me to get into that habit of like, you know, say I just catch somebody with a couple punches and I'm moving away, and I see myself in a position where I'm gonna have to use an excessive amount of energy to get out of this trap or position that I'm in.
Okay.
Let me just clinch real quick. So I just clinch, turn them, and I can let go, or I just stay there until the ref breaks it.
Right.
But you know, you clinch and you turn them, and now you got the bigger side of the ring behind you.
Right. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
that's interesting. I never thought about it from that perspective. Like you would think, oh well, I don't want to like back away, or there might not be a way I can get out. You know, if I try to circle. So if like I go for the clinch, it's the safest way. I don't want to get hit. But that's another way of thinking about it from an endurance standpoint. Like I can get out, but I'd be wasting too much energy to do that. So did you learn that from your coach?
Yeah.
That's so sick. I never even thought about something like that.
So that's what, like today when I was sparring, there was a moment where I caught him with a few punches and he caught me. I probably, instead of letting him basically tie the situation up, balance it out, I'm like, nah, I'm not letting you do that. And I just grabbed him, I turned him, pushed him out, and then we kept boxing.
Right.
So then my coach was like, that was really good, that clinch, you know what I'm saying? But
you don't want to make it a staple.
I don't like it. I don't really like the clinches. And I don't have nothing against clinching because it's really smart to do, to be honest.
Right.
But it's just something in me that I'm trying to break. You know what I'm saying? Like, one, you can't be a macho man doing boxing. Like, you're going to get really hurt. You know what I'm saying? Most macho men either die from, you know, brain damage or whatever because they're so macho, they want to be super tough, and you end up getting hurt that way.
Right.
The smartest,
like the punching bags of the sport type, right?
Exactly.
Gotcha.
So you want to be the smartest guy.
Right.
You want to be the smarter guy in there, not the tougher. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that falls into that category. When you clinching and, you know what I'm saying, you turn them and, you know, you do all the technicalities of boxing. That makes you, and plus it makes you look like you know what you're doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Rather than just someone who's a brute and just there and just banging it all out. I mean, we could do that too, but my coach is trying to get me out of that habit and trying to get me to use my brain more.
Well, as your level of competition increases too, you know what I mean? It's like you had mentioned the street example. I mean, you could get away with that with someone on the street. You're a pro boxer, you know, you'd fuck them up. But if you're fighting a world champion,
it's different.
You know, like I mean, obviously not only is it in a boxing ring, but also it's the fact that like you said, you can't really like afford to make those mistakes, those same mistakes.
Yeah.
What's up? But you can't really afford to like make those same mistakes and stuff like that. And I also think in your situation, you were talking about like football and boxing, like both of them back to back. Me and my friend were discussing that, like football and boxing, and how those are more injury prone than like an MMA or something like that, just because of how many shots you take to the body and head overall. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Right, right. I was also gonna say for your upcoming fight. What's up, boss? For your upcoming fight, in it's June 1st, right?
Yes, sir.
June 1st. Worcester.
Yes, sir.
What do we gotta say about this guy? Because I remember last time you were saying this is my toughest opponent, and then you fought in Worcester, and you're like, this is my toughest opponent. Are
Well,
we
this
gonna
guy has
say
the best record out of everyone I've fought.
what's his record?
16-3 or something like that.
That's actually really decent.
Yeah. So he's from Argentina too. So
Damn, you really just keep on taking on these guys from.
so it's just another stepping stone. You know what
Yes,
I'm saying?
sir.
For me, that's how I look at it.
Yes, sir.
That's it.
What can people kind of expect to you as we wrap everything up? Like June
Fireworks.
1st, fireworks.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
fireworks. They get 4th of July coming early this year.
Telling you, this man is cheating you guys out of tickets because he just keeps on knocking them out in round one. It's like ridiculous. You know, you get there, you're like, I want to see Carlos fight. You see him fight for 30 seconds, and then it's all over. Well, I appreciate you for being on, my man. Seriously.
I appreciate you for having me, bro.
And for having me in your gym and everything like that. June 1st, I know you're gonna kill it. You're gonna bring your record to 12-0. What venue?
Palladium. The
Palladium.
Palladium in Worcester, Mass.
Palladium
I
venue.
think it's the same one as the last fight.
Oh, okay, that's perfect. Yeah. So if you were at his last fight, well, you're going to the same place. You might watch a quicker fight. Who knows? But I appreciate you for being on as always, and thank you, my man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, bro.
Yes, sir. Sir.